Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with an absolutely delicious new release, Conciertos Románticos. This is hot stuff. Really hot stuff. But actually, they're Mexican, so it's not Conciertos Románticos, it's Conciertos Románticos. Thank God. I can pronounce my S's. Well, anyway. It doesn't have to necessarily be that way. So don't jump all over me, you Spanish people. I'm just having a good time. This disc features piano concertos by Ricardo Castro and Manuel Ponce. Let's see, with the Orquesta Sinfónica de Minería under Carlos Miguel Prieto. Who's playing the piano? Of course, Jorge Federico Osorio on the Cedille label. These are fun. This is a real find, let me tell you, especially the Castro. You also get, by the way, individual pieces for piano by each composer, which we'll get to momentarily. But Ricardo Castro, this is a real find. This thing is fun. He lived from 1864 to 1907, did not have a long life. This is the first concerted work by a Mexican composer of any kind. They think it was written around 1884-85, but I love Ricardo Castro's full name. It's one of those super-duper Spanish ones. That he was baptized already. Ricardo Rafael de la Santísima Trinidad Castro Herrera. Yeah, fabulous. Anyway, this piece has good tunes, glittering Lisztian pianism. It's in cyclical form, otherwise it's kind of formless. It ends with a polonaise. I mean, it's just yummy. It's yummy. He spent a lot of time in Europe, Castro did, and he dedicated this concerto to Karl Reinecke, of all people, who probably despised it because, Reinecke was very, very conservative. But it doesn't matter because we can love it. I enjoyed this thing to the max. It's just yummy. Most music in Latin America, classical music in Latin America from the latter half of the 19th century was extremely heavily influenced by Italian opera. They were not, Beethoven, Germanic type people, even when they wrote in classical forms. They were far more interested by the music, influenced, by music of the theater, as it was actually the case in France. And so you hear that here. You hear it in the thick orchestration and in the surging lyrical tunes. And, the first movement has a haunting opening. It sounds like absolutely nobody else. It's marvelous. And I really think, you have to like it because you're going to hear it about 1 billion times. But it's just a splendid piece of real discovery. And Osorio, oh my goodness, he just plays the living daylights out of it. It's so much fun. Really, really fun. And then there's 3 short pieces, a berceuse, which is delightful, and a canto d'amour, d'amor, love song, and finally plainte, a lament. They're like 3, 4, 5 minutes each, little salon pieces, and they're just delicious. Then we get to Manuel Maria Ponce, 1882 to 1948. Now, I always think of Ponce as sort of the Zdenek Fibic of Mexico. Does that make any sense? Well, probably not. I mean, he was a good composer, well-trained, solid, but just lacking that last ounce of personality to really make him a distinctive voice. That doesn't mean it's not good music. It is good music, but it's not extremely personal sounding music, which is what we're kind of looking for in romantic stuff. But he wrote a concerto, piano concerto number 1, subtitled Romántico. And Romántico it is. It's just a lovely, attractive, passionate, romantic hunk of pianistic virtuosity. And, I don't think it's as interesting as the Castro. I really don't. And you may feel differently when you listen to it. It has plenty of good tunes. It's very, very effectively scored. I like the finale particularly. The finale has character. It's sort of a wrong note romanticism rondo where the tune doesn't go where you think it's going to. The harmonies are all slightly out of whack and off kilter, and it's short, and that makes it really, really appealing. So in that sense, It has quite a bit of charm. And again, the performances are just splendid. The sonics are typical of Cedille. They're absolutely top notch. It's his first class release. You also get 4 short works by Ponce. You get his Arrulladora Mexicana, which is one of his few pieces that sounds like Spanish or that has a Spanish title in the sense that you expect it to sound Spanish. Doesn't particularly. And then his Gavotta and the Romanza de Amor. And then finally, the evocatively named Intermezzo number 1, which is actually the best one of the group of 4, probably the most interesting. It's only 2 minutes and 36 seconds long, so it's very intermezzi. Anyway, this is a first-class disc. It's very funny how the Romantic Piano Concerto series on Hyperion, which ran up to 1 billion discs, and who knows with what's going on with Hyperion, what's going to happen there, didn't include any of these works. And it should. I mean, there's probably a tremendous amount of fabulous stuff in Latin America that needs to be dug out. Remember, these forces, or at least Osorio, did the Chavez Piano Concerto, which is fascinating and which I recommended very strongly. These are more conservative pieces. They will be more appealing to those of you who like, Liszt and Grieg and, people like that, Tchaikovsky, that kind of stuff. Or the later, lesser-known romantic guys like Charvenka and, all that stuff. It's just wonderful. A wonderful disc. No two ways about it. And you really ought to hear it. And you're going to really enjoy the Castro, particularly. That's a find. It's really a find. So keep on listening, friends, and take care.